Good morning, you guys. Today is Saturday morning, the 19th of August. Current local time is 0753. We are currently westbound on California Highway 58 in Bakersfield, obviously in California. We are on our way to make a delivery to the Walmart Distribution Center in Shafter, which is just about a 20-mile drive from our current location. A lot of people ask that, like, where the hell is Shafter at? Even my wife I was telling her about how I was going to Shafter. I've never been here before. I've been to this place several times, but I'm on pickup, better hurry up, because I'm getting blocked by other traffic. There you go. Nice. All right. Yes. I wish everybody would do that on the on-ramps. You get a big 2 thumbs up from me. Seriously, I'm pleased with that. Oh my God. Because so many times I play a guessing game where they're going to speed up, maintain speed, or slow down. And I always guess wrong, so instead I just don't play guessing games. I'm the one with the right-of-way. I'm not changing my speed, so they can adjust to me. I don't play guessing games with traffic that doesn't have the right-of-way otherwise, because like I said, I always guess wrong otherwise. So I'm really thrilled with that. Seriously, I'm very happy about that. All right, anyway. So I was talking to my wife and telling her, hey, I'm on my way, I'm delivering in Shafter. And she's like, where's Shafter at? I don't even know. I'm like, yeah, I told her probably about 5 or 10 miles west of Bakersfield, basically, is the easiest way I can describe it. So, yeah, even people here in SoCal don't really know where Shafter is necessarily. I picked up this load at the Tyson Foods facility distribution center in Olathe, Kansas. That one is already on the channel. You guys hopefully already saw that one. I talked about how much driving experience should a trucking trainer truly have. I also shared some thoughts on how I think a good training process could be to an extent there, with multiple, have multiple trainers with varying experience levels and stuff. Anyway, don't want to be talking about that all day. What we got here is a load of frozen chicken. Which normally when I pick it up from that Tyson facility there, and I went to, more often than not, when I pick it up from there, it's a pork load. Because now, mind you, that's not a kill plant that I picked up from. It's an actual distribution center. So anything Tyson Foods related gets stored there and sent out to different locations. And this one just so happened to be a chicken load. And sometimes you do get chicken loads out of there. It's just, more often than not, when I pick up from there, it's like bacon or something else pork related that I usually find myself leaving there with. Alright, so we're about to get on to Highway 99 here in a second. I have something I want to talk about that is more JCT centric. And, it's partially because I get a lot of drivers who are currently with JCT who watch my channel, maybe want to see my thoughts on stuff that gets talked about in our groups, for example, or got friends who who watch my channel who are former JCT drivers. Scotty D, one prime example of that. Sometimes my former JCT friends like to keep up with what's going on with the company. So we're going to talk about that. All right. Right now, I'm noticing there are a lot of people, it seems, who've been here a while, or at least who are not new, seem to be leaving the company. Now, the focal point of it seems to be about concerns about Hirschbach taking over and they're shoving too much of Hirschbach ideology down our throats. Not gonna lie, to an extent, I can see their concerns. How much of it is valid and how much of it is, things going on within the industry as a whole, and how much of it is any business, even if it was just JCT by themselves, how much would they be doing some of this stuff on their own? They're having to deal with some of the stuff on their own, versus how much of it's being influenced by Hirschbach, for example. All right, so some of the concerns I've been hearing, because I know of at least a couple of drivers who've been with the company for a good decade, who just quit. Actually, one of them just quit yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and the other one just announced his departure just a day before. Not going to name names. It's not my, it's not really my place to post someone else's dirty laundry, whatever. Actually, I'm not moving over, dude. You're going to have to deal with it. There you go. Alright. Well, we'll just say that we got some drivers here with more years at JCT than I have. And at least, two of I know who, with that kind of background, who recently quit. And there are some others I know who've been with the company a year to 4 years or whatever, we'll just say. You've also quit recently. When I first started seeing kind of the exodus going on, it seemed to focus more on the team trucks than it was anything else. Because it seemed like it was more team trucks complaining that they're not getting miles, that they're doing 34-hour resets when they don't need them and stuff. Sometimes like 2 or even 3 34s in a week or something along that line, and they're not getting the miles that they should be getting. I'm not really sure what's playing into that. I know there are some concerns that Hirschbach is stealing our loads. I'm not sure that's necessarily the case. Perhaps some of it, to an extent, could be happening. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that, no, it's not. But, I'm a devil's advocate and an ever analytical guy, as you guys know. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Hirschbach. I don't know. But I know there are things going on nationwide with OTR freight that might just be every company's dealing with this kind of stuff to some extent. And this is the cyclical nature of trucking in general. Sometimes, Tyson Foods, for example, that's our biggest customer. It's also Hirschbach's biggest, I think. I know Hirschbach has dedicated accounts with, dedicated fleets, actually, that all do nothing but Hirschbach. But stuff's going on with Tyson. They just announced that they're going to close 4 of their plants recently, including the one in Noel, Missouri, which is one that JCT does service. And then just a couple days ago, we're only doing 53. And then a couple days ago, I saw an article about Tyson saying, I didn't read the article, but they're selling their Chinese operations to some, I think, a Chinese company or something like that. So it even has me wondering now with that part, because we do a fair number of loads to the port, all the different port facilities in Oakland that end up getting transloaded onto a container, and then the container ends up on a ship that ends up in China and other countries, most often in we'll just call it in the Orient. So you guys all decide to speed up now. Well, after you were just doing 53, and I'm only a few miles away from my exit, so now you put me in a shit position here. I wanted to go around because they're all doing 53, and now I'm at a point where I don't think I can get around these guys, all of them, and before it comes time to get to my exit, without slowing down in front of maybe the tanker who might be the reason for it all. Well, anyway, I do have concerns about that. Are we going to lose freight now with that because of Tyson turning over Chinese operations, whatever? We still have other countries we send stuff to over there. That's Tyson. Like, could be going to Japan or Taiwan, Singapore, or yeah, I think I've even sent. I think I had some go to Vietnam even. Collision alert for what? A crack in the bridge? Oh my God. Alright, so but I can see us possibly losing a little bit of freight due to that. But now, losing freight in general, I'm going to point out something here. There's a bit of a relationship between contract freight and spot market freight. Now, spot market freight is mostly handled by small-time company, like owner-ops, basically. You know, people who run their own trucks, and don't have a large enough fleet where they can, you know, maybe enter into a longer-standing contract at a set price, you know, rate, whatever, with the customer to haul their freight. You know, so what happens is when the spot market gets really you know, in demand, the freight rates for spot market loads goes up really high, like they did about a year and a half ago, something like that. A couple of years ago, when we coming out of the pandemic. The next exit here, 7 Standard Road, we're going to get off at, by the way. But so when that goes on, then contract loads start to become more in demand because if contract rates are generally more stable, we'll just say they're not as volatile in price. Yeah, they'll go up and down to an extent, but for the most part, they don't really change much because what it takes is maybe you have a 1 year or a 5 year or 3 year or whatever it is contract between the customer and the carrier. And they're locked in at a certain price for the most part, or you know, certain rates there. It could be different things, like depending on how many miles the load is, they might be in like rate blocks or something. Yeah, that's how it was when I ran Walmart Dedicated. Actually, depending on how many loaded miles we were doing, we got paid a specific amount for any like a certain block. So, you know, like 51 to 100 mile block, we would get paid a very specific amount for any load that was within that mileage range. And then 100 to 150, basically, it would be another specific amount. You know, the longer the distance is, generally the lower the rate per mile gets. That's kind of how the agreements can sometimes work. They're often do. So yeah, with contracts in general, though, it could be something along that line, and you know, the price might be locked in a certain way until the contract expires, and then after the contract expires, now the customer and the carrier or other carriers can renegotiate. Hey, we want to give you more loads, or we're going to take away some of these loads from you or something because your service rate is not good enough or something. Or maybe like what's going on lately, spot market rates were down in the dumps. Yeah, I'll just go through. It's close enough. Yeah, it's a yellow light anyway still. Alright, so contract rates got down into the dumps, you know, and, you know, contract loads stayed up, stayed a little more elevated because there were still plenty of valid contracts that people were, that carriers were still bound with. So yeah, they were still able to hold in better rates. But as spot rates got lower and lower, now the spot market is more attractive to the customer trying to get their load shipped out for the best price. So contract carriers are not quite as attractive to customers as they once were. So as these contracts expire, they start renegotiating contracts with, and they might say, you know, we're not going to give you as many loads and we're not gonna do as high a price as you're wanting for it, because we can get better price from spot market drivers instead. Makes good sense to me. Alright, well, eventually it'll get to where spot and contract rate, market free rates for similar types of loads might equalize, where they're about the same price, roughly the same rates. And then it'll eventually get to where maybe the contract rates start going back up. Because now we're getting fewer trucks out here to haul the loads or whatever, or fewer owner ops, and then the prices go back up. And after that, now contracts start becoming more attractive again. So, as contracts expire and they have an opportunity to renegotiate new contracts, and hey, I'll give you more loads now than I was before. Because I can lock in a better price. The customer can lock in a better price than that. So, there's a lot of yin and yang there, I guess I would say, with that. So my point there being, and don't think that it's just JCT and Hirschbach dealing with this. Knight Swift, they're a publicly traded company. You go look at their quarterly earnings reports. There's a bunch of other carriers that are public. Schneider, JB Hunt, pretty much any of the companies. If you look at their OTR earnings data, you might be seeing that their operating ratios are getting way up. I talked about this now, I don't know, not too many weeks or months back, whatever, where I think Knight Swift, for example, I think their OR, which is their operating ratio, or basically what percentage of their revenues get sucked up by costs. I think they were around 76% or something like that on like the previous quarter or something like that, if I remember right, last time I looked. Last year. Same quarter this year, earlier this year, by the way. That same quarter, the OR was up to well over 80%. I think even, I can't remember that. I think it was like 86%. So in other words, you can make let's just say let's say a $10 billion revenue business there. Then 86% of that $10 billion you're making is getting eaten up by cost, paying out drivers or paying out maintenance or buying new equipment or whatever the case might be. So there is stuff like that goes on. And my point here being is if the freight is down, there are some anecdotes about Hirschbach taking JCT loads, but again, freight's down nationwide, and I'm more apt to think that that's what we're being casualties to. We're just waiting on the driver to, the truck to load ratio to normalize again before to start going back up. And until we get that right balance there, there's going to be some casualties like that. There aren't. I don't know. There are so many. Well, how about with this? I'm forgetting my point I was going to bring up. So one of the anecdotes I heard from the driver was they're seeing a whole bunch of Hirschbach trucks coming out of the Coca-Cola facility in Auburndale, Florida now that they used to not really notice before. And when Hirschbach first bought us out, I was also hearing a lot of chatter from drivers about how they're seeing Hirschbach trucks here in California a lot more than they used to. Okay, is that really going on, or are you just noticing them more because because you're actually looking for it now? It could be an element of both. I don't know. I just know that every time I've ever bought a new car, I bought a 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse back when I started working at March Air Reserve Base. I didn't see those very much on the road, and after all of a sudden, once I'm driving one, They're all over the place. I see them all over the place. Does that mean they're not on the road? They weren't there before, but now people are buying them because I bought one? Or were they always there, but I just didn't notice because I didn't have my mind on them? Later on, I traded that car in for a Subaru WRX STI. Again, I didn't see very many of those STIs on the road back then. All right, so you can either make a right turn here. This is the Target distribution center here. Or you can make a right turn at the next light down. I'm going to go ahead and use this one here. Let me get zoomed in here for you guys. So, kind of help you with knowing where you're going there to some extent. Alright, but anyway, yeah. I bought my STI. I would see I could maybe go a few days or something like that before I'd see another STI, and we'd always wave at each other or something like that. And then it got to where I would notice at least one or two every single day or something along that line. Again, does that mean that they were never there before and they just started buying new cars because I bought mine, or were they always there but I just didn't notice them because I wasn't looking for them? So that's what I'm suggesting. Maybe there is, to some extent, that going on with Hirschbach trucks. Hey, you're aware of them now. Now you have an association to them in some way as a JCT driver. So maybe they're in the same numbers in the areas that you're talking about that people are saying they're stealing our loads from, but you just never noticed until now because, again, they weren't in the picture with us before, so the only thing we would mostly have our minds on are other JCT trucks. Well, now with the Hirschbach trucks, all right, we're seeing them more because we're looking for them more. I don't know, that could be the factor there. But also, Hirschbach still in JCT, come on, there are times where, I've had times where I pick up Smithfield loads. I've never done a Smithfield load with JCT until Hirschbach came around. So, how much is, okay, there's some give and take going on there, guys. There's, it could just be Hirschbach is covering loads that drivers are not able to handle. JCT drivers can't or something, but I know I did hear something about a JCT driver sitting in Florida waiting for a load. And I guess they were over by Coca-Cola or something, and they saw a bunch of Hirschbach trucks coming in and out of there, and they were still without a pre-plan or something. But okay, first, I don't know on the Hirschbach side, but I know with JCT, we do both deliveries and pickups to that Coca-Cola plant in Auburndale. So how many of these trucks? If you're that driver, if you're watching my channel or know the person doing it, I don't know. Again, they might have a valid concern. I don't know. But I'm just saying there could be more going on there than meets the eye, and don't be so quick to judge, I would say, because it could be that some of those trucks are making deliveries. Some of those trucks could be making pickups that that were already Hirschbach's to do in the first place. Or the driver who's waiting on a pre-plan and they see her, all right, well, there could be stuff going on there. Maybe a concern with the hours that they have available or something, or could be that the DM set their PTA wrong. I've had that happen to me before, where I had one not too long ago, actually. I delivered at the Ralph's in Riverside. You guys can watch my channel and find this. I made a delivery to Ralph's in Riverside on a Friday, if I recall. I ended up sitting, because I even told them I was available to reload right away. I did not get a reload. So I ended up going back to my house, waited there. Saturday comes around, nothing comes up. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then the next day, I'm like, I think Sunday comes around, nothing comes up. I'm figuring, okay, maybe it's just a weekend. I don't know. Monday comes around, in the morning, my DM sends me a message. Hey, are you ready to roll? I see you're, are you coming off home time or something? I'm like, No, I've been sitting here waiting for a pre-plan since Friday. And like I even said that I was ready to reload immediately after my delivery on Friday. Like, I don't know whatever happened here. And I had found out that somebody, I don't know who, but somebody had fat fingered or had a dyslexic moment with the PTA that I put in. Because it could have been like June 6th or something like that. And instead of June 6th, they put in June 9th or something along that line. You know, where I think they fat fingered on a numeric keypad or something, where the 6 and the 9 are right above and below each other, or something along that line, if I remember right. That's what the impression I got was. Like, how the hell do you put that date in there, or whoever it was? So somebody screwed my PTA up, and I had no idea until Monday came around. So there is that possibility that is why that driver might have been sitting there. Perhaps somebody fat fingered the driver's PTA, or just put some random thing in there. Because I've even had times where I find out my PTA got blown out for some other reason that I don't necessarily even have much of anything to do with. Yeah, it could have been even like me putting a trailer or truck in the shop for just some routine maintenance kind of thing or whatever. And someone pushes out my PTA, but then when I come out of shop status, they don't reset my PTA to something where I can reload right away. So there's a lot that can go on there, guys. Just because you see Hirschbach trucks coming into a place and you're still sitting when you should be getting a load doesn't necessarily mean that they're spilling our loads. Could be something like double check your PTA. Communicate with your DM. Hey, what's my PTA set at? I just want to be sure it's set right. And I regularly send my DM my PTA, tell her I want it set at such and such date and time. And it's right there on the Qualcomm, and and then the planner also can see on my driver profile that my PTA is set to that time. And if they're actually looking at me, they can also look at any past communications between me and whoever, and see that I might have sent a message about my PTA, and perhaps that discrepancy can be caught that way too. We're here at the Walmart DC now. I'm going to get checked in here. There's more I can talk about on that, I'm sure, but I want to try and keep this a little bit on the short, on the reasonable length side. Or maybe while we're waiting on these people here, I can always just try to think of what else I was going to mention with that, if I can, because go on dat.com /trendlines website. DAT freight boards, they can show you what they'll show you right there what their trends are. They'll have a table at the top that'll show you how much the freight rates have changed over and not just not freight rates, but the loads to offer, how many basically trucks are available for drive-in, for flatbed, and for reefer. Break them all down like that, and shows how much they've changed over over the last week, the last I think month, and the last year. And you'll see that the amount of freight available over the last year is down quite a bit compared to what it was last year. Alright guys, we are checked in now. We're going to go ahead and dock into door 414. There's been a fire over there or something, but I can't tell what exactly it is. Looks like it's actually getting put out already, or whatever it's causing it. It just started not long ago, and I mean, the size of it kind of makes me think it's a vehicle fire. It's hard to tell though. Alright, 414 is going to be on the other side of the receiving office. No, actually right here. 414's got a drop trailer in it. We'll get checked in real quick. I'll go park and then double check. Because they might have it slated for the shag driver to pull that trailer out of the door and for me to get into it. So let me, I'll go double check with them and see if they want me in a different door or if want me to wait for that, for that trailer to get pulled out of that door. I might have to put it in a drop spot here, actually. Yeah, let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in right here. Do a U-turn setup. Not enough room for a. Oh wait, there's another spot over here. It's closer. Go for this. Do a U-turn setup, and then I'll back in and find out if they want me to wait on that trailer to come out or put me in somewhere else. Ooh, that's a bad setup there. Alright, so we'll fix it. Go into a left, right, left serpentine right away. That should fix it. Alright, I got a pickup back there. I got to watch out for. What's she doing? I like to get in a spot sometime so I can check in. I think he's just doing some kind of weird some kind of check on the reefer units or something. I don't know. Alright, looks like he's out of the way. I'm trying to get the trailer to dive in there so it's as straight an angle as possible when it gets into that spot. Wow, we are good. Alright guys, stand by. I'm gonna go check in, see what they want. Alright guys, we're good to go here. I think he's trying to drop that trailer in that drop spot, yeah. Okay, so she went ahead and gave me a different dock door. Said dock at the 409, which is a few more doors on this side of 414. 414 is the very last door over here. Alright, should have room to do a U-turn setup. So we'll come over here before we get to this white Volvo so we're not blocking him. And we'll figure out where, looks like, yeah, we're 2 spots past that Volvo there, it looks like. Alright. We're gonna have a straight back situation, it looks like. Alright guys, we're gonna go here. Yeah, we're gonna have a straight back setup here. Good spot. Alright, general rule, the slower you move in the truck, the slower you should be turning the steering wheel. See how that lines up right there? It's, I wouldn't call it perfect, but it's pretty damn close. A little bit off to the left actually, but that's why I would say not perfect, but it's really close. I gave myself a really easy setup here. I have some sun glare there interfering with me. Sure, it's interfering with you guys too, but it's, yeah. I have it just as bad. I can't even see the dock door. All I'm trying to do is line up with I can tell from where the other trucks are at that I'm getting close. I'm gonna go ahead and get disconnected, pull forward. I don't know what's going on there. Probably a car fire, or maybe, hopefully not an accident that caused it or something, like a crash. All right, then we'll get out of here and let you know what's going on after that. All right. All right, guys, we are done unloading here. It is a little bit after 1300 local time now, 1305. 1306, whatever you want to call it. Alright, we're empty, confirmed empty, no OS&Ds, so we can get the hell out of here. I probably do have some more I can talk about related to what I was talking about earlier, but in the interest of keeping the video somewhat relatively not too long, I guess, we'll forgo that. I think I kind of covered it now. Enough to kind of get the hint that it's, yeah, there may be more, or people might be on point with their concerns. I don't know, but I'm saying there are reasons to believe there could be legitimate reasons why certain things are going on that are not Hirschbach caused or whatever, or Hirschbach meddling or interfering or whatever you want to call it. All right, let me get checked out here, and then. I know, one little last thing on that, I guess. Good. Alright, push it. Alright. England getting ready to leave at the same time as me, but I was just trying to tell him, go ahead if you want. So then he's waiting for me to go. Alright. Yeah, so for my personal thought, I don't know. I don't see much going on that really I really need to be super alarmed about. I do see things that I'd rather see JCT stay JCT and keep running the way JCT always has. And there are some things going on that make me wonder if they're starting to change too much. But I kind of, because one of the things I like about being here at JCT is that, even if we're what size company we are, I can go to our terminal and have a face-to-face contact with my my DM, actually all of the DMs in the office there, as well as any of the planners too. Even, when Danny Krishner, rest his soul now, was still around, go there and chit-chat with him briefly and stuff. We can still do that as far as I know, but there are reasons to question whether that might be ending soon. And I think that's one of the concerns. I had heard a rumor that our DMs have moved already over to the planning office area, but I don't know for sure. I've not been by the yard lately, but yeah, I can go in that DM office and I know everybody by face. I can see a person and I know exactly what the person's name is, and and have some kind of rapport with them. Same with a number of the planners back there. So, and that's what you don't get at a lot of mega companies is, because a lot of times they have those guys in a restricted area that you're not allowed to get into, or if you do get into there, you have to be escorted through there. England, I know you're going to a dead-end street there. I think. Pretty sure it's a dead-end street right over here. He's going to have to turn. Did I ever... No, I never started my screen record for you guys. Oh, shit. Alright, I forgot. There's 2 left turn lanes. get that started for you guys. I totally forgot about that. I even went into do not disturb mode so I don't get calls and stuff, and then I totally forgot to start the screen theme for you. Alright. So that would be my chief concern. Otherwise, the pay's not any different. I'm still running good miles. I mean, I ran, like about 13,000 or some odd thousand miles, somewhere in that neck of the woods in July. Close to 14,000 if I recall. Those are good miles. And so far in August, I'm running good miles too. Maybe down just a little bit, but not, on my settlement this week, it said I was up at, what's this guy doing? I was up at 18,000 plus already on my last settlement, so, and we're still at 2 more settlements to go before the end of August. I'm going to be up over easily over 20, into the mid-20s, 20,000 range by the time I'm even through the end of the month, and I still have the entire month of September to go before the end of the quarter. So for me, I shouldn't, as long as nothing goes wrong, like with the truck or myself or whatever, I should have a very easy time getting past that 30,000 mile threshold that I need to get my safety bonus for the next quarter. So I don't know. And there are some people who've been getting laid off, I guess, or let go, whatever you want to call it, at the terminal. You have to expect that some of that's going to happen anyway as part of a streamlining process, even if to some extent, to at least a fair extent, we stay as JCT. So again, there's that, and then also the freight market with rates being down and operating ratios being down. Being up, whatever. There's also that concern. Even if Hirschbach wasn't part of the picture, would some of these people still be getting laid off anyway? Because I remember when I had about a year in or so. I don't know. I might have been around 2019-ish. Yeah, JCT. Could have been 2020 during the pandemic. I don't know. But at that point in time, Hirschbach wasn't even part of the picture. But I know that they laid off a pretty good number of people at the terminal back then too, because of the economic or freight market conditions, whatever. So, it was kind of sucked when there were people I had rapport with who I saw get laid off. But in the end, that's between JCT and them, or Hirschbach and them, whatever the case might apply at the time here. So, I can't take that kind of stuff personally. It's, and there are still other people I can still have rapport with. I hate to see some people go, but Hirschbach has their reasons why they're doing the stuff that they do, and all we can do is just see how things play out. So what I'm gonna do. Otherwise, it seems like status quo to me. It's not bothering me, so I don't have a motive to flee the coop and go elsewhere just yet, at least. Hopefully, I like to keep it that way. But you never know. I shouldn't make other people's problems my own. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. All right. So where are we heading to next? You notice I'm heading westbound here on 7th Standard Road now instead of east back over to Highway 99. We're going to be picking up a reload at the Walmart Distribution Center in Colton. I want to be going back to Missouri. And before we do that, though, I'm going to be heading over to the Pilot over here in Bakersfield, or as it's labeled as Bakersfield. I'm not sure I'd truly call it Bakersfield, but it's on the outskirts. We're going to come right over here to Highway 4. What is it? I always get 43 and 41 mixed up. I want to say this is 43 coming up. Yeah, not too far up the road. We're going to hit Highway 43, head south, take that down to Interstate 5. And what is that? We're at Taft Highway and I-5 meet up. There will be a Pilot truck stop right there. I'm going to fill up my reefer unit there. And then after that, I'm going to be taking this trailer back to the drop yard. I do have the reload to do. That picks up tonight at 2200. However, this trailer is due a DOT inspection, and it's due this month. And also the reefer unit has an oil leak that it'd be best to just go ahead and drop it off in the yard and tag it and report it, and let the trailer guy, or the reefer and trailer guys who work in our drop yard handle that whenever they get to it, and I get a different trailer to go pick my load up with. I also have, you know, I'm low on hours. I got 4 hours and 20 minutes left on my 70-hour clock, so that kind of tells you what kind of how hard I'm running. I don't have any hours to work with. I can't even run a full shift today. So, yeah, barely 8 hours on my 70-hour clock from start to finish is all I get to work with today, and I'm going to be down to probably, might not even have an hour left by the time I get over to the drop yard, and another probably like 20-minute drive or something like that to get over to the Walmart DC. So I'm going to be down to next to nothing until I get those recaps back at 10 o'clock tonight Pacific time, or midnight Central time. Yeah, otherwise I'm dead in the water. And then let's see, what else? See, I'm just going to fill this up with reefer fuel. I would stop over at the Blue Beacon and Wheeler Ridge, but it's probably going to be a freaking hours long wait to get, like 2 hour long wait just to get a damn washout. Something I can get done more easily. And actually, you know, I think I-10 truck wash in Colton, I'll have to double check. They might be open by the time I get still by the time I get over there, but I'm not positive on that. So, but we have a couple guys who regularly do washouts at our drop yard as well. So my thought was I'll just fill it up with reefer fuel, drop it dirty. They can wash it out there at the yard, and then they can, you know, whatever time is needed to get the DOT done and reefer leak fixed. All right, is this 41 or what's this detour? All right, it's the stop sign up here that I want to hit. That's the. All right. Yeah, I know I was kind of giving mixed signals to the guy behind me, but it looked like he turned over there anyway. All right, so that's what's in store. All right, so that fire, by the way, looked like they got to put out pretty fast after we finished that previous the dock-in segment. So yeah, the size of it and the color and all that told me it was highly likely to be a vehicle fire, whether it just caught fire on its own or for some reason, or if a collision caused it, I don't know. But yeah, they at least got it out seemingly pretty fast. Hopefully everything worked. Yeah, hopefully nobody got hurt in that. Alright, before I go too, you guys might know there's a Hurricane Hilary coming up from it's kind of not far off from the Baja Peninsula right now, down by the southern tip of it, and it is expected to come up into California. First time ever that anything like that's happened since 1939. If it stays at hurricane strength by the time it crosses in, that would be a first since 1858. So yeah, I guess there's already some spotting moisture from it coming already into the lower deserts, as we call it, and into Arizona now. It's not really expected to really start doing much until tomorrow, though. But so there's the other concern. Yeah. Well, if it's tropical storm, those winds are not super strong. They, like what, 45 mile an hour winds or something like that, I recall. It's just an organized storm that drops a ton of water, rain basically, with some wind in it at that point. But there are other concerns like how many trees are going to get felled and block roadways and stuff. Who's going to be without power for how long and all that kind of stuff. Those I would say would be the things I would be more concerned with. But otherwise, I don't know, it's, yeah, if all goes well, I can get this load picked up. I don't know, maybe even run some recaps, just enough recaps to get it to my house tonight. And then get rolling again tomorrow. But then I'm going to definitely have to be watching the wind and, you know, wind and other weather, you know, data tomorrow for that. Because ideally, if it all goes well, I'll be going across Arizona and into New Mexico tomorrow. So I don't know, we'll see. I got good recaps coming in tonight and tomorrow night, so shouldn't have any problems at all getting that load delivered in Missouri on time. Yeah, so yeah. Alright, they just sent me my load assignment. Even after I told them I already got I gotta drop my trailer in the drop yard and get a different one. Alright, that's all I got. You guys see on the map, that's the pilot and Bakersfield that I'm going to. From there, I'm gonna take a kind of a truck bypass route around Lancaster and Palmdale more than likely after I get up into the Grapevine. Head across. I know a truck route around there that can keep me out of Lancaster and Palmdale and avoid that area. And I won't have to stop at the pilot there in Palmdale either. And you know, then run down the cone pass to our drop yard from there. Alright, that said, I'm going to let you guys go, right? Thanks for hanging out to watch, and alright, I don't know that I'll have a video for you guys in Colton. Decent chance I won't, but I don't know. I might not. Alright, so we'll just play it by ear, I guess. Yeah, because I've done a ton of Colton pickups, so I might not to mention it. You know, gives me a chance to keep getting, finish getting caught up on all my video data here. So, all right, y'all have a great day. Thanks for hanging out watching, and we'll probably see you guys in Missouri on the next one. All right, peace.